What is up guys, Water10 here, and today we will go over a beginner's guide for the AD carry / marksman role in League of Legends. I myself is a Diamond ADC main as of right now, so here are some of my tips and tricks to help you either get started as an AD carry or perhaps learn something new that you didn't know before. So without further ado, let's get started. This guide will consist of 5 parts, and if you want to skip ahead at any point to a specific part, I'll leave timestamps in the description below. Alright, so firstly we need to go over what the AD carry / marksman role really is. It is located at the bottom half of the map, also known as the bot line. There are 20 different champions for you to play who are classed as AD carries / marksmen according to the game. And yes, I'm not including Teemo or Kindred even though the game states they are marksmen. They are not to be played in the AD carry role. Your main objective as an AD carry is to dash out as much damage as possible in fights and in the game. You are the reliable source of damage, and later on in the game a huge factor into consideration into which team who ultimately wins. Therefore, the AD carry role is extremely important and should not be overlooked. You might not have the best early game, but almost every AD carry shines either in the mid game or the late game. Alright, so that was just a general introduction. Now let's move on to the specifics. Okay, so now let's talk about the champions who you can actually play in the AD carry role. As I said before, there are 20 unique characters that defy the marksman role. And of course, they have different playstyles. Some characters like Jinx, Caitlyn and Varus are extremely good at kiting and poking at long range. And kiting means that you constantly move around and attack the closest target to you. And they are easy to stay safe with in teamfights thanks to their long attack range and their abilities. Whilst other AD carries such as Lucian, Twitch and Tristana have much shorter range but have more powerful abilities for close combat, such as Twitch, Toxic Poison or Lucian's auto attack reset on his passive. It is therefore also important to know that certain AD carries are powerful in different stages of the game. Let's take Ashe for example. She is quite weak up until the point when she reaches level 6 and gets access to her ultimate, which she can then start using to create picks and later on kills them. And later has a very solid mid game and a decent late game. However, the longer the game progresses, Ashe will eventually fall off to some other carries such as Kog'Maw or Vayne, who become absolute monsters in the late game. The early game consists up until the point of 15 minutes in the game usually. The mid game will last between 15 to 35 minutes depending on how the game goes, and then the late game is usually 35 minutes plus. Ashe is therefore a very strong pick if you play a lot with your team in the mid game and can close out the game before it gets too late. However, if you're instead on the opposite side playing as someone like Twitch or Ezreal or Vayne who want to scale into the late game. And scaling means that you farm minions and stay safe in lane without dying. They want to farm minions and experience, since you're going to be the strongest then when you achieve your items. And since these sort of carries need a few items before they come online, it is important to stay safe and play for the late game. If you're just starting out as an AD carry, I recommend for beginners to start playing with either Ashe, Jinx or Sivir, since they're fairly easy to play and don't require a lot of mechanics or game knowledge in order to have an impact on the game. Now, let's talk Masteries and Runes. For the Masteries, you have 2 different options as for the Keystone Mastery. You can either run Fervor of Battle or Warlord's Bloodlust. The Masteries you should run should depend on your matchup and the champion you're playing. In some cases, you can also pick Deathfire Touch. However, I only recommend using this keystone on champions like Jhin or possibly Varus, since they're the ones that actually benefit from this keystone. And because they play with a lot more poke style with skill shots and their own abilities. Alright, so what is the difference between Fervor of Battle and Warlord's Bloodlust? Fervor of Battle gives you a short 80 for a short period of time when auto attacking, and Warlord's Bloodlust will heal you a little bit every few auto attacks on creeps or champions. So it really depends on your playstyle and matchup if you want to go for more raw damage or the sustain from the Warlord's Bloodlust. For the Masteries, you should run 18, 12, 0 and depending on the matchup, Warlord's Bloodlust or Fervor of Battle. For the runes, I recommend running 3 attack speed quintesses, 9 armor seals, 9 attack damage marks, and 5 magic resist glyphs and 4 attack speed glyphs. The Lanning Phase is one of the most important aspects of the early game, and it depends heavily on how you play it. It will influence the entire game. Since you are playing as the AD carry, your main job in the lane is to gather as much CS as possible. CS stands for creep score, which is the same as killing minions. It is also important to always keep track of the enemy bot lane and make sure to either play aggressive or passive depending on the matchup. Say for example you are playing as Ashe, who is a mid-game carry, versus a Twitch. Then you should try to play more aggressive, since Twitch has much shorter range than what you have early and will not have as much damage as you do. However, be careful and don't disrespect the enemy's damage. They might surprise you. And if you're instead playing Twitch, you should look to play the lane more safely and try to stay back and farm as much as possible and look for plays later on in the mid-game/late game. Lastly, we have team fights. And in team fights, your positioning is very important, since you are basically the only source of sustainable and reliable damage on your team. It is very important that you stay alive. So with good positioning means that you play with your team and play to your strengths. And also be aware of what threats the enemy team has towards you. Say example they might have an assassin mid laner that will try to burst you down. Then you need to play around that and try to stay as far away from that champion as possible while still being able to deal damage in the fight. Also remember, you are the AD carry. This means that you should attack whatever target who is closest to you, regardless of who it is. It might be the tank, carry or support. It doesn't matter. Your job is to attack the front line and not go after the carries. That is your mid, jungler or top laner's role, depending on their champion. Therefore, always play with your team and attack the closest target to you, while as well staying safe all the time. So there you have it, a quick introduction to a beginner's guide of the AD carry role in League of Legends. If you guys want more tips or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching and I hope your AD carry journey becomes a good one. See you next time!